Okay.
Uh, any other questions?
No, but that's it.
So what happened to the exercise? Were you able to finish it?
Yeah, I did that.
Okay.
Just
So can you
should
can I see your code, please?
yes, yes. Should please give me control for that, and I will. Can you see my screen, Buddha?
Yes.
So this is the same thing what you written, and only thing I added is get time. This one I added, and then I for the start and end time I got the time from using that function get time. That's it.
Okay. But actually, I intended a different one, right? Like I wanted you to do a different one. We kept it in game words PB. Uh, See, this is where we have to talk about responsibilities. Okay. See, the when you say the words DB, it is always a good thing if you can actually name the variable and you let it only do that job.
Okay.
Okay, so it is very important object-oriented kind of design. So people may not know that a words DB class will contain a get time method. That's not usually expected, right? You can design it that way. But one of the reason I asked you to actually uh, uh, create a stopwatch class is so that we will have a separate object that is taking care of the time needs.
Okay.
Okay, so that is
Got it.
that's the main reason, and also the name of the variable game and the type of the variable words DB, they don't exactly are clear in terms of um, uh, there is no relationship between the words review and the game actually. Okay,
Correct.
so actually be sure about how we are using. Uh, and in the further classes, we are actually going to create another game class. Okay,
Okay.
which actually takes responsibility of managing the games, and also we will create some other classes that will create different flavors of the same game. Okay,
Okay.
so obviously what we have to do in that case is then let the game class take the responsibility of creating or letting the users play a game. Okay, instant game. So even the game dot get time. Uh, how exactly? When exactly are you putting the initial time? Can you show me where you're getting start? Okay, solve this.
Just before printing this, I'm getting this done.
Okay, yeah. When you do it like this, if you see the get time method, or go to the get time method, you can simply press Control, click on get time. That will take you to that method. Okay.
Okay. So here,
Now, No, no, already you're already there, right? So you don't have to click.
Yeah.
Control click. Okay.
Yes, I'm in the get time method.
Yeah. See, are you actually gaining any benefit of creating this get time method? Just imagine. Do you think you are actually getting any benefit out of it?
No.
No, you are neither reducing the length of the program, and you are not even making adding more clarity to the program, right? So you have to
Correct.
always think in terms of in those lines also. Are you, if you are actually making any specific method, it should be trying to solve something either in smaller set of lines, or it should be making the code more readable. Otherwise, there is no point. So even so you have added these 4 lines of code, and you haven't reduced even a single line of code in your program, haven't you?
Correct.
So actually making this code, yes, sometimes making a method even for single lines will make things more clear. But in this case, instant.now is also equally clear in my view. Again, these are all battle of wills and views. So something that is clear to a person will not be clear to another person. One designer may design a specific solution to a specific problem in one way, and another designer may solve the same problem in exactly a different way. Okay, so there is nothing wrong in having a different kinds of solution, but always think: is this going to make either of two things? Either the code has to be reduced uh, in terms of number of lines, or the code has to make more things more clear. Then only
Okay, got it.
we generally go for creating another methods. And also the responsibility of wordsdb should not be to actually managing the time, at least in my view. That's no place for a get time method, even if you want to do it that way.
Correct, correct.
Anyways,
Agree.
let's go. How about you, money? What's going on? You said you were trying some other problems, and what interesting problems have you solved?
No, I'm not done.
Hmm?
uh,
Yeah, the presenter money.
yeah, yeah, yeah. This class one code, class I did not actually solve this code, but I tried to get the time from another class from here,
Okay.
and I have the word, I mean challenge in this words DB class, and I tried to get this one here, this class here,
Mm-hmm.
and time here. But I did not solve actually, but just implemented them as
Okay, you said you are trying some other problems, no? What problems you tried?
uh, as of now, I'm not trying anything, but I'll try by tomorrow. I'll show.
Okay. Kishore, how about you?
Yeah, I did it. You can check
Okay.
once. Can you see my screen, Muda?
Yeah, I can.
Let me go to.
Okay, open the stopwatch.java. Okay. Um, I would say it's okay. It could have been better. actually. In fact, I'll just show that initially, but good job, Kishore.
Yeah, yeah, Buddha.
Okay, now let me just share my screen and start that one. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, Buddha.
Okay. So, okay. Eclipse actually has a small feature that may come useful for you sometimes. That is, whenever you are actually changing something in your Java file, it actually stores a version of your storage. It as a different version. So if you want to go back, you can actually go back to that previous version of that class. So by the time I finished class yesterday, my main method is looking something like this. And I also have wordsdb class, and which I kept in data package, and this wordsdb also has in fact, and then replace with local history, and then I'm selecting a time. Okay, I changed it yesterday by our class ends. This is the time, so I'm just double clicking it. I'm going to get that. So now this is how our project was looking when we have left the class. Okay, now what I want to do now is I actually wanted to simplify some of these things. Okay, I have the start time and end time, and then I'm having some calculations over here to actually measure how much time the user is taking. Okay. So now the first thing that I want to solve is simplifying some of the timing related operations. Okay. So for that, what I'll be doing is I'll be creating a class I can directly give a package here itself. Okay, I don't have to create a package first and then create a class in that. So now I want to create some util methods, and then here stopwatch. Okay, to you, Kishore, and Srinivas, or anyone else who is creating new classes, there are some conventions that you always have to remember follow. Okay, the convention number one, you don't create your classes in lowercase. You I always have to put them in camel case. If some of you, if I remember correctly, one of you has asked me about the conventions. I think it is Kishore only. Kishore or Srinivas, about the conventions that we have to follow when naming the variables and all. So when we create a class, it has to be always a camel case. Okay, first letter should be capital, and then from each word that we put in that class, we have to use a capital letter. That way, we will be able to make all the classes look similar. Okay, and as I said, what is the exercise that I gave yesterday? This class should make sure that time management is a little simpler. Okay, so how it can make simple? The exercise said it should have two methods, right? Public void start, and then what it has to do? It will be it has to the way and what I've said is the stop method can be created. Actually, the naming for the method should always start with a lowercase, and then from second word onwards, it has to be camel case. So, say let's say we create a method like this. So stopwatch should be named like this, not like this, or not like. Okay. So how you have to do is you have to start with a small letter and then camel. You have to use camel case. If there is only one word, everything will be small only. I occasionally code in C# also where the convention is to start a method with capital letter. So I usually get the capital letter. I usually accidentally type capital letters in here also. So what I said is, to the point of creating a start instance, you have done it right, and also to calculating number of seconds and returning them, you have done it right, Kishore. But where you have done it slightly wrong is you have not used actually the class. Okay, the class can also contain some private variables. Okay, so instead of sending these whatever time that you're creating and sending back and asking them to send that instant back in the stop method, you can simply store that instant here in the class itself so that they don't have to do that. Okay, so your implementation is something like instant, and you are creating a instant object and you are returning it, and then what you have done, you wanted them to actually send the watch dot stop, send the start instance that they have used. Yeah, it can be done like that, and it will, the stop will directly return the number of seconds. But the advantage of this class is we can create a variable inside the class level, at the class level. So just like how we did for the words DB.
Okay.
So you can simply store that instant. So let's say let's create instant I. Instead of returning it, let's store it, and let's not return anything. That way user will not have to worry about managing the time variables and starts and stops, etc. So what we will simply do is we will not create this instance at all. We will let him use the watch.start, so that will start the time and it will be storing that instance I. Okay, and when we actually call this stop method, whatever we have written over here can actually go there. The start is I, end is instant dot now. So now we should not have to put it like this. We even doesn't have to put it like this. We can directly return this stop method. This way, a user actually doesn't have to care about the instant type of data itself. Okay. So he can directly get seconds equals to watch dot stop, and he doesn't even have to pass the start instance. Okay, so this actually makes the usability even simpler. Okay, he's anyways creating one new variable. Why do you want him to create another variable to just manage that start point, which is not really necessary? Okay, so this is what I actually wanted you to create a class with start and stop method, and stop method should return the amount of time that has elapsed since we started the watch. Okay, so then again, if we call this watch dot stop again after some lines, what happens? It will still be calculating from that initial time that we started. When we started, that means there should not be any more instance calculation, right? So what we will do is to actually make it even more simpler, more robust. Boolean running equals to false. And now you see the problem is this. Let's say he accidentally somewhere after the code he said watch dot start again. Now what happens? Can anyone guess?
I value will be changed.
Yes. So whatever it is he earlier stored is gone. So a watch, we have to make sure that he can only start once and stop once. And the same way, if we how we can control it like this, we create a boolean variable where we set the value to running equals to false, and then we'll only do this. We'll only set the I value if the running equals to false, and then because it is started, we would say running equals to true. So this way, the stopwatch will remember its current state, okay, whether it is running or not. Even if he accidentally calls the start method again, it won't simply restart these things. Okay, now imagine the stop method. So the stop method works like whenever he calls the stop method, he will be getting the number of seconds that have elapsed since the starting of it. So now if the what if the user actually calls the stop method even before he actually uses the start method? What happens? Can anyone guess? Any guesses? Any volunteers for guessing?
So seconds will be calculated irrespective of whether the answer is correct or not.
Now actually what happens is we get something called a null pointer exception, because instant I doesn't have any value at all. Okay, it is not pointing to any object. Instant I is a variable. I is a variable which is not pointing to any object at all. So, and which means it is pointing to something called as null. So we'll get null pointer exception. So we'll get an error. So we have what we have to do is we have to prevent the user from actually calling the stop method instead of letting him do whatever he wants. So what we will do is we will return the number of seconds only when the running is equals to true. And also I should have used double equals to here, not single equals to. And if it is equals to 2, that means I value has been set. I value will be set to true only when the start method is called here, right? Based on this logic. So now if running is equals to true, we are returning this. Else return say -1. This way user will know that he has not started the actual stopwatch. Okay, so there are various ways of handling the same thing, but one way to handle it is if we simply return -1, he will understand he has not started the watch. Okay, so now what I'm going to show is every time when we write methods, we have to write comments. Okay, I showed you. Did I show you comments? Hello, anyone?
Uh,
Mm,
Comments.
Yeah. Okay, say for example we have written some piece of code, okay, which we don't want to run, or say for example we want to write why we have written like this. uh,
Yeah.
so in that case we will write some description. For that we have to write some text only, but that should not be treated as a Java code. In that cases how we do is we write something called as comment, like we put a double slash and then we write whatever we want. Okay, stopwatch can only be started when it is not running already. So this is a comment that we want to put before the if class. So that means they will understand why we have done this uh, the sentence. Okay, and setting running state to true uh, to indicate start method has already been called. So now this way, when we have comments like this, we will exactly know why we have done. See, sometimes the problem with programming is this. If you look at your code after say a month or so, you will even forget why you wrote the code in that way. Okay, that's yeah, because I think you may have something similar even when you're programming in COBOL, right? Do you have comments in COBOL?
Yeah, yes, Buddha.
Right. So we'll be simply using comments to uh, make sure that we can understand the program after some time, or other developers can also understand the program whenever they see it. Okay. So here we are returning minus one to indicate the watch is in illegal state. Okay. So this way we can actually write comments to actually give some descriptions as to what we are doing. Okay. Now if you want to write multiple lines of comment, or if you want to comment this entire code, what we can actually do is we can use slash star and then users star slash, sorry, slash. So this way this entire code will become between that slash star and star slash will become a comment. So this is as good as it doesn't exist. So now in the main method I get an error saying that the method stop is undefined, so it cannot find the stop method. This is how we can write multiple comments, multi-line comments. Okay. Now, if you want to comment multiple lines at once, so what you can do if you are doing in Eclipse is select all the lines that you want to comment and just press Control slash. Okay. So then all the lines will be commented, and then press Control slash again, they will be uncommented if you are using Eclipse. Now, if you want to use multi-line comment, you have to use Control Shift slash. I'm sorry. In Eclipse, that shortcut. Sorry, in Mac, that shortcut means something else. Control Z. Okay, the multi-line comment. I'll draw the selection with this shift command slash. Uh, Shift command slash control command slash. Okay, control command slash. Okay. So in Mac, the shortcut is different. We have to use command control slash, but if you are in Windows, you have to use control shift slash. That way, the multiple lines will be commented using the block comment. Okay, I generally don't use the block comment because of various reasons. Uh, One reason is the shortcut is longer to use, control command slash, or in Windows command control shift slash. It's simple to use, simply control slash and then control slash to uncomment. Okay, so that's how we can use this comments. Okay, there is another type of comment in Java that actually makes our things a little easy. Now, if you remember, just when we are telling, say, for example, scanner.nextLine, when we put mouse over there, it is showing some description, right? Why we are, or why we have this kind of, what this method does, what it returns, what it throws, everything. It has a specific description. But if we come to our method, we don't have any, because this is a method that we created and we have not given any description as to what it means. So now to provide that kind of descriptions, we use a special type of comments that are called as Javadoc. Okay, Javadoc just looks like a block comment, but it will start with slash and two stars and end with star and slash. Now, if we give a description, running state, it stops the watch. Okay, in fact, we have not written the code to stop the watch, right? We simply return the time that has elapsed so far. So let's do that also. Okay, we'll do that. It stops the watch and uh, returns the time elapsed. If the watch is not already running, it returns -1. So now let's save this file, and now let's go to our main method. Now if we put our mouse over here, it displays whatever we have written over there. Okay, so this is how we can actually give uh, what actually it will be returning, etc. Now, as I said, we have not written the code to actually stop the watch, right? So to actually do that, how we can do is, instead of returning directly like this, let's do one thing. -1, and initially we are setting this value to -1, and else we have removed it, elapsed equals to duration -1, and now elapsed. And before we return, what we have to do, we have to change the running equals to false. So this way the stopwatch gets stopped before actually returning the seconds. Okay, so it is doing certain job, so it stopped the time. And now, why did I remove the else part? Can anyone give an explanation of why this is why we don't have to give else in this case? Money? Are you there, Money? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because you already set we are executing when running is equal to true only.
Uh, yes, that's true. It's is it Kishore?
Yeah, yeah, Buddha.
Okay, yeah, that's true. What we are doing is we are already setting this -1. If this okay, what is the reason of using if else? If this doesn't get executed, something else should be executed. So what we did, we by default set the value to -1. So if this doesn't get executed, the value in the elapsed will be -1 anyway. So we don't have to have that else part. So what we can do is we are simply returning it, and before returning it, we are setting the uh, running to false, and we can give the same javadoc comment for the start method also. Okay, starts starts the timer if not running already. Ignore if the timer is already running. Now our class has beautiful comments and returns. Now our start method has a description, and our stop method also has a description, and it also returns. It is showing what is getting returned by this particular. So whatever we give in that at return annotation, if you see we have given at return, and now when it showed that uh, our stop method, it did not show it as at return, right? It showed at returns, not at returns. So this is an annotation that is specially handled by the Javadoc. It instead of showing annotation, it shows like this. And also we can give who developed this class by using at author annotation. The same way, if we give author, we get like this. And now when we go over here, we'll be also getting the author who developed this particular piece of code. Okay, and we can also give these Java docs at class level and even at the property level. Okay, if we give author Buddha utility class to time differences easily. Okay, and now if I go over here and if I put my mouse over there, it shows that description. Okay, because this is what I have given for stopwatch. The same way we can also give for variables, but anyways, if they are not public, they cannot be visible outside. So it doesn't really solve any specific purpose. So let's ignore that at this point of time. Otherwise, people usually give the comments for the properties also if they are public, especially, so that others will understand what that variable is representing. Okay. So now, what we did is we have simplified the code of calculating the time. Okay, so that's well and good. But then the main method, this unscramble, I actually want to make sure that this check method, as we move this check method to this words DB, I actually want to change the algorithm a bit. See, the problem over here is that we have to, when we use this challenges and answers array, what we are actually doing, what we are actually getting is every time we'll be getting the same kind of challenge, right? For piano, it will always be IAONP. That's it. It won't be anything else at all. Okay. So what actually happens is it's not that challenging. Once he solved all these puzzles, he will be getting repetitive challenges. What if every time he runs the program, he gets a different word? Now, if you guys remember this scramble program I asked you guys to solve, so Srinivas, I remember you solved the scramble program, right? Srinivas, you there?
Yeah, which one,
The
Buddha?
scramble word, like when a word is given, it has to be scrambled into to give a random form of it.
No, Buddha, I haven't solved it.
Okay, fine. So I given you the problem, right? Or I haven't given you the problem at all?
Yeah, you have given the problem.
Okay, okay, okay. So now, if you had that already, now you would see why I actually asked you to solve that problem. Here, every time giving the same word, same set of same scrambled form as a challenge is actually not that challenging. Okay, so we cannot actually let the user get the same word again and again in the game. So what we will have to do, instead of setting up on a fixed but okay, I want you to come up with a solution. How do you solve the problem? Let's imagine we have a way to scramble the word. Okay, let's not worry about how we do that, but how do you solve the problem of giving a different form every time? And how do you ensure that you can check successfully? Because when we are checking what we are doing, we are trying to find if the same word, if the challenge exists in the challenge array or not, and finding the index of that challenge, and then based on that index we are finding the index of the actual answer, and then comparing if the whatever user has given is correct or not. Okay, so now how do you actually solve the problem of giving a different set of thing, yet you find that different set of thing in challenges array? Or even if you want to ignore the challenges array, I want you to do, how do you solve this problem? Any guesses? Srinivas, if I asked you to solve the same problem, how would you do it? Based on, I'm actually giving you the problem based on whatever I explained you so far. I'm not actually giving you something new.
Random, can you use random here?
No, the random is to actually randomize the a certain number. Okay, assume that you have already solved that problem. Assume the scramble method I asked you to create, you already created, and when you give scramble, it actually gives you a scrambled form of the same word. Okay, but let's not go into that. How to generate scramble is not my question. But if you give a different word every time, how do you find the correct word when the user has given the response? How do you check if that whatever user has given is correct or not? How do you solve that problem?
Buddha, is it like only with these four words?
No, tomorrow the okay. How do you solve if it is only with these four words?
I mean, if I'm understanding correctly, so once the challenge will be IAONP,
Mm-hmm.
and the next time it should come as PONIA, right?
Yes, that's right.
So the values in the array should be changing always.
Okay.
Values in the challenge array should be changing.
Okay.
So here we hard coded it. So instead of hard coding, after scrambling, we need to give that store that values in the array.
Okay. So when does that scramble happen? When should that scramble happen?
Uh, Whenever we are running, executing it.
Executing what?
Yeah, executing the code.
Okay. Imagine the user here, what we are doing over here, we are only giving one word and then that's it. We are stopping over there. Imagine that the user has, our game is something like this. starts with y. Now, what does this program do? Can anyone explain what does this change do?
It will ask the user for input value.
No, asking the user for input value is evident. What exactly is the purpose of doing that?
So when we enter y, it will go to the start again. I mean,
It will give a, again, it will try to give a different challenge.
yes.
All right. For that to happen, this challenge also should happen. Challenge equals to word dot get word should also happen here. Now this way, user will be getting a different word every time that he runs the program, right? So now, okay, what happens now? So now after using up the four words, what happens? Again, he will be getting the same result, same, right? When you run the program, if you think, say for example, when you run the program, first it has given for game. When you run the program, you scrambled it and it's storing a different array. That's well and good. And then when you run it for four times or so, it will finish all the words. And then when you still the user wants to continue because he liked the game so much, what happens at that time? He will be getting the same scrambled form, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So now how do you solve that problem?
We have to code something to change that combinations each time when we press Y.
Yes, you are coming close. So each time when we press the code, there are different ways of thinking about the same problem. Okay. One is when a user presses Y, we can think about in the words.scramble, we can think about writing a method like say for example, public void scramble, and it can scramble every word. Okay. Or whenever we press y in the beginning, what we can do is we can say words dot scramble. This way it can actually change the every array, every challenge. Okay. We can imagine that that is one thing that can be done. But imagine this, trying to do the same thing every time when the user wants to continue for every word is like time consuming, right? It's not that good thing to do. Alternatively, what we can do is, let's not make this public. Let's imagine this should scramble only a single word. Okay, this should take a single character, a single word, and then that should be scrambled, or it should take an index and the word at that particular index should be scrambled. The challenge at that index should be scrambled. Now let's say int r equals to random dot next int challenges dot length, and now we are doing r, and then we are writing some form of scramble of r. So now what we are going to do is, in the scramble method, we will scramble this particular word. Okay. Now, if you see whatever index is there, we'll be scrambling that word. Now, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to create another method with the same name, scramble, and then instead of actually using an index over here, I'll be using a actual word here. Okay. Now, what I'll do is challenges of R equals to scramble of challenges of R. Okay, let's say of dot sort of word dot to char array. Now, if you remember, I asked you to write a program to actually sort an array, right? So in that case, what happens based on whatever logic, what happens? All the letters will be sorted in a specific order. Now let's imagine our scramble word for now, because we have not solved the scrambling problem yet again. What it does is it simply sorts all the characters in that array. So piano, what it becomes, A I N P O M N O P, sorry, N O P. So this gets sorted. So what happens is, when the scramble of the word is called, this word will simply be scrambled. And what we are doing is we are setting that word to actually a scrambled form of that same challenge. Okay, so here instead of R, we should be using index because we are passing the index instead of R. Now, so what happens now when when a get word has been called, along with getting a random word, it actually scrambles that word. Okay, but for now our scramble has a problem. Every time it returns the same set of elements. Okay, so we cannot actually guarantee how many set of elements we are going to get. So for that, what we can actually do is we can generate a random number. New random dot next it of, say for example, size array dot length. Now what we will do is we have gotten a random number, right? Now let's do one thing. Let us take the first whatever random number we get. Let's copy all those characters to the end of the string, end of the remaining characters. Now what we can actually do is, let's create another character array. Character array equals to, say, what shall we do? New character array of size array dot length. Now what we will do is, for int I equals to 0 and I is less than R, let's copy the values from this initial character array, the array to array scrambled array, scrambled array. Okay, so this scrambled array is there, and now what we can do is scrambled array of r minus I equals to array of I. And then what this does is this copies, assume that we got 2 in the random number, and then what this does is it copies from 0th position of array I first to 2 minus 0, which is 2. So the first letter will be copied to the second position, and then when we got the when we go to the next character, it will again be reversed. So that way what happens is we are splitting that array by 2 sections, and the first section we are reversing all the characters. And imagine we are doing the same thing for this next section also, where int I equals to r, and then I is less than array dot length I plus plus, and then we are exactly doing the same thing here. So first set of characters will be returned, and then second set of characters will be returned. Now let's see what happens when we actually call this one. Now when we actually don't have to call the scramble method, that's actually private, we cannot call it. Now let's run this program and see what happens. And we got array index out of bounds exception. Let's see where we got it. We got it here, and r minus I, rest of the characters. Okay, for now let's do one thing. R equals to array of I. Then okay, now we gave game. Yes, I want to continue, and then I got IANOP. I say piano. Okay, I want to say yes, and then hard. I want to continue, and then again I got hard, and then yes, I want to continue. And if you see, I'm getting the same thing again and again. Okay, which means the scrambling logic is not working fine. So imagine that we are getting it correctly. What we are actually doing? Okay, we are actually creating new string of array. Instead, we have to create the new string of the scrambled array. Then we should be getting the actual scrambled form. Let's say now we got gem. What actually happened over here is one letter got removed somehow, so which is not right. So we should have actually taken care of this. So what we are actually supposed to do, instead of r, we actually have to use I here. Now let's run the program. Now here also we got the C got erased. For some reason, this program is not working fine. The reason being, we are actually somehow there is an issue in this particular logic of scrambling, and we are not getting the correct word. So if you see, if you know that this is computer, but C is missing. So where the C is missing, why the C is missing, we don't know. Yesterday I showed you something called as debugging, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to debug and find why this C is going wrong, and I want you to fix this code. So this is one of the challenge I want you to do. So this wordsdb class, I'll actually share this class with you. I want you to debug the code and find out where things are going wrong actually. Okay, so that way you will be gaining some experience in debugging as well as fixing the issue. But for our current problem sake, let's imagine this is the correct one. Okay, let's imagine we are getting the correct word only. So for that,
Buddha,
yeah,
Buddha, debug did you tell yesterday?
yes, okay,
Okay, okay.
I'll show you again. So now if you see,
checkpoint.
Okay, when we are actually running a program, so in the get word, we should be getting a scrambled form, right? First, let us see whether we are getting a different scrambled word every time or not, and then we will debug. Now we have run this, we got game, and say game, enter, we solved it, yes, we want to continue, and then we got EGM, which doesn't look right, which is also another form of game only. Okay, and then we want to continue, and then we got hard. So every time one letter is going wrong. Okay, yes, and then game, yes, and then we got another different scrambled form. Every time one letter is going wrong. Okay, so why, how to debug that? One thing you can do is we can put something called as breakpoint. Okay, when we double click over here, a point dot comes over here, which means the code will break here when we are debugging the code. So now when we run this, for now let's not switch, the program stops here. Now if there are two options that we can take, one is step over and then step into. When we say step over, this simply skips. And now did I not tell you, is this something that is coming to your mind, or did I imagine that I already told you?
I guess you told, I guess, Buddha. I'm remembering.
Okay, so now when we
But
say
not in
step, I'm sorry, what did you say?
but not in yesterday's session, right?
I don't remember whether it is yesterday session or not. I thought it is
Okay.
yesterday only, but that's fine. Uh,
Okay.
so so when we say step over, what happens is it will not go into the details of executing this. Okay, it will simply come out of this. Now let's say step over. What happened is we did not go into this get word. Now what happens is we will it will simply be continuing for the next steps, because but we have to debug by going into this method, right? We have to execute the lines inside this method, but we don't have to execute the lines inside this println method. That is working fine. So let's step over, and then it is waiting for us our response. Enter piano. Now again got here. Now if I click the step over again, it will simply be executing everything that is inside this, but we have to debug this, so we have to step into the get word method. So we have to use this step into. Now we got into step into. Okay, it's all well and good. Let's come down slowly and try to see how we can find out what has happened. Now when we said this, now if we put our mouse on this R, we got a 0 as the random number. So what we have are actually trying to do is we are trying to scramble this 0 word at the 0th index. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to go into this, and then here what we are doing, we are setting we are scrambling the word at 0 index, and then setting that same scrambled form in the challenges array in the same index. So what happens is new scrambled form will go into the challenges array. Now let's step into this, and now let's come here. Now what happened, what is there in ARR? We got AEGM, that's fine. Now let's generate another random number which is R, and now let's create another scrambled array which is scrambled array. Now we got nothing, we got three values, we got an array of 4 elements with no values in them. Now R is how much? R is 2. Now what should happen, we have to copy the values from R minus I, sorry, from I to R minus I. What will be R minus I? 2 minus 0 will be 2, right? And then array of I will be what? Array of 0. So we are copying the first element, which is array of 0. What? Array of 0 is A. So we are copying A into R minus 2, which is scrambled array of 2. So obviously we will be copying, after executing this line, what we did is in scrambled array Now in scrambled array, in the third position, which is of index 2, we copied A. Okay, this is fine. Now let's go to this line again and executed this. Now what is there in scrambled array? Now we got E. Okay, and then we came right. So now what we are actually doing is we have actually we are supposed to move, but somehow we did not move all the things that are supposed to happen. Like we did not move the first character. Now what I want you to do is uh, uh, find out why we are missing that first character. There must be some logical error here which is preventing me to copy all these things properly. Okay, so I want you to find out what is that mistake and how you can fix that mistake. Okay, now this is debugging. We can simply debug things like this and find out how values are changing and what change is being done to each variable when we call certain method and all. Okay, so I wanted to try debugging and fix this scramble code. So for now, let's imagine that our code of scrambling is working perfectly fine. Okay, so the scramble, the words DB, I'll give you this words DB class. I want you to fix this. I will give you the main method, stopwatch method, and the words DB class. Okay, I want you to fix this. Okay, let me do one thing. Do you all have Eclipses open with you?
Yeah, mine is open.
Yeah, Buddha, we opened it.
Hmm, I think this will. Okay, let us repository name and batch 2 repository. Okay. Just give me a minute. Go to- Just one or sub project. Okay, it's taking too much time. Let me not do this. Uh, I'll zip these files and give you. I'll tell about this Git a little later. Where is this? It should be in trash. Put back. Okay, let me create a new for Java project. Default application. No. Scramble and browse. Training. Okay, I'll simply zip these files, put these files in your project, just copy paste them anywhere from anywhere outside, and that should actually make sure that you get the have those kinds of have those classes in your project. I actually wanted to show you something called as Git, but at this point of time, it is taking too long because I haven't set up anything. It's just idea that came now. Uh, so let me. Okay, so now what I was actually telling is initially this is trying to scramble, but the problem is that somehow, somewhere, one small bug is there in this code. I want you to find out where that bug is. Okay, that actually the fix is very very simple, very small fix, but try to see if you can figure out where the things are going wrong. Okay, and then we can actually look at some other ways of doing the same thing as well. One thing is, not don't even worry about saving this challenges array. What if you only save this answers array, okay, or the words array, only return a word. Anyways, you are scrambling it. So what if you simply return a scramble form of a single word, so that the other person can actually use that, and so that you don't even have to worry about storing this. Okay, we can actually implement these things slightly in a different format, so that we don't even have to use this challenges array. Okay, how I'm going to show you tomorrow actually. That way you will see what are the different ways in which we can solve the same kinds of problems. Okay, there I'll actually create another class called as word, where each word is stored in that word class, and then we'll go ahead from there. But today, to give you a small revision, what we did over here is we have created two methods with the same name. Okay, but where they differ is the parameters that they give. If you remember, I said you cannot have more than a same method with you cannot have two methods with same signature. So signature is the combination of the name as well as the parameters that it takes. So if the parameters are changed, you can actually use that same name for that method. Why do you want to use the same name? Because imagine Java doesn't allow you to use same name. How do you do it? You name these methods as scramble at index, scramble a word. So you have to name like this, right? Which doesn't really makes more sense, because anyways we are passing that string word. Okay, so you don't really get that benefit of keeping the code clean. Okay, if you name things like this, so there will be hundreds of thousands of functions for each change of parameter. We will have to use a different word. So you can create any number of methods as long as their parameter with the same name, as long as their parameters or parameter orders are different. Okay, so that is called as polymorphism. That is one of the essential topics, the essential concepts of Java, that will actually prevent you from writing code that is too lengthy. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. I'll send you these files as zip file. The PDF, I haven't used any PDF today because today is mostly a demo session. So that I wanted to solve those things so that you will know how these can be solved using classes. Okay. So tomorrow also for some part we will still improvise this code, so that we will get rid of these challenges completely. If you have time, think about that, how you will solve, how you will get rid of this array. See, we are unnecessarily storing this array, right? uh, so there are ways in which we can actually ignore or avoid storing this duplicate kind of thing. This is actually duplicate only. We are anyway scrambling it every time. Why can't we simply scramble on the answers itself? So how will you solve if I asked you actually not to use this? Okay, so think about how you are going to solve this problem, and think about how you are going to fix the problem of missing a single character in when we are scrambling this. Okay, so those two are the things, but finding this bug by debugging is important. But if you still have time, think about how you are going to solve this avoiding this challenges array completely. Okay. Any questions?
Mhm.
No, Buddha.
No. So what I'm doing is I'm simply zipping these files, and once so just unzip these in your source folder, and these files should come into your project as well. Okay, or if you want to create another project and do in that, you can do in that also. So that's it. Mani and Kishore, have you guys got any doubts?
No, Buddha, fine.
Okay. So try to solve this problem and also try to solve the other problems that you guys missed. And also, if you can, if you still have time, write your own scrambling logic. See, this scrambling logic is actually flawed. Okay, this scrambling logic is not that great. It always takes one character and it reverses all the characters till then, and then remaining characters are copied as it is, which is not that much of scrambling. Once people identify what is going on after seeing some examples, they will be able to. So try to write another scramble method that will be truly random. Okay, there is no specific pattern that users can identify. That is how you should. That's what you should aim for. So try your best, and we'll anyway see these things even further. So don't you worry about it. Today's source code. Okay. Thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you tomorrow morning. Bye
Okay,
bye.
Buddha. Yeah, bye.